couple of steps and crucial requirements getting your car to go into the Thames. You want a good base of a car. So we have a VY Commodore factory 5.7 6-speed manual. What I had done to make it faster, the first modification I did, apart from valve springs, cam and timing chain, was the T400 gearbox. So I had bought the car and I know that the T56 clutch and a pedal assembly will go for around $3.5 grand. That was when I sold it 2 years ago. That then led me to buy my T400 and save a bit of money. Try and look for an option that you're going to make money back off and not just throw a 4L60 to the side and not be able to make money off it. You can even try painting the car. It makes it glide through the air. No, that's a joke. The next easiest step to going 10s is obviously forced induction, i.e. supercharger, turbocharger, nitrous even, and obviously supercharger comes under belt-driven turbo centrifugal. Why did I say turbo? Belt-driven turbo, what an idiot.
Special officer duty.
Turboing this made me, in the first application, it made 513 horsepower. That was on 8 pound of boost on E85 fuel. And that's where we go into the next part. A good fuel system has helped me make more power, i.e. faster ETs. So I had a Walbro 460 and 850cc injectors to start with on the E85, which made me 513 horsepower. I then changed to a Walbro 535 and went 1000cc expert injectors. Now we're pushing 11 pound of boost and making 450 kilowatts. Another easy way to get your ETs attached a tad bit faster, you can strip the weight out. So I still have my AC core, my AC compressor, I still have full seats, sub, amp, stereo, tub liner, you name it. It is still a full street car with aircon on the works. If I wanted to go a little bit faster, I don't know how much faster, but every second or millisecond counts, right? So you can take out your spare seat, put in a lightweight seat, take out your sub, take your spare wheel, which I don't actually have, so take out your battery, put a tidier one in there, take out your AC core, all that jazz might make you a little bit faster. That's another easier step to going a little bit faster. Another easy way to getting a little bit faster, and some people will say this is false, is an automatic transmission. Oh man, use it faster. You're a fucking woman if you drive an automatic. This has a shotgun 3200 stall in it, backed up by a Penrith Transmission Centre gearbox. It's a 1200 horsepower rated, trans-braked, reverse pattern valve body gearbox. Now, obviously with a trans brake, it allows you to build boost in gear, and then essentially like a clutch dump, it's just releasing reverse gear. So that is what's getting me a really good 60 foot time. I've gone 147 to the 60 foot, which is very decent in a full weight street car. For say 450 kilowatts. It's all comparative to other things, but it's good in my application. A good shifter, because you don't want a soup stirrer shifter or an old school disgusting one.
Standard Commodore shifter where you go from first to ninth already.
Shift with linkages. So that's the next easiest step, is a good gearbox with a good stall converter. A nice helmet helps. In the rear end scheme of things, I have defied all laws of physics with this vehicle. It's been running for about 2 years now on 500 horsepower and 600, so they're the two power levels that I've had it at. And somehow it still has the standard axles and diff in it. Whether it's been rebuilt before me, I do not know, and I highly doubt it. Though with 3,500 RPM trans brake launches at the track on radial slicks, the axles have stayed in there for standard ones, and normally they're the first thing to go. So if you can spare $3 grand, if you're going to be drag racing and trans brake in your car, put a good set of axles in it. A good alternative to the old IRS diff in this and axles would be to go a Borg-Warner diff, which came out in, you know, your Falcons, your old Commodores, the live axle style thing, where you can go a good axle and a good center, which is probably around good for around 800,000 horsepower. So that's another way around this. It's the only weak link about VY's VZ's independent rear suspension. Obviously, what is going to help with traction on a drag strip, not on the street, is good tyres. I run an Outlaw brand 17-inch front wheel with a street tyre on at the moment, which I'm soon to upgrade. And the rear wheels are OS Drag Formula. Don't ask me about specifics on how to get them to fit. If you want the same wheels as what I have in the rear of mine, go to Purnell Tyres and say, this is my car, I want the OS Drag Formula. They'll sort you out. I don't know anything about it, that's just all I did. So the rear tyres I run at the moment with a 3/4/6 ratio diff gear at 7,000 RPM across the finish line to the quarter, a 26-inch tall by 10-inch wide, though we are going to step that up and make it a taller rear tyre to lower RPM across the finish line. I've gotten a couple of you should do this, you should do that on the arse end of this car, i.e. suspension and the way I've set it up. I run a standard spring and a shock that I will not tell you which shock I run, because that is my little secret. Thank you, Steve Hamilton. Though, with a radial car with a radial tyre, yes, you want in turn the arse end to come up on launch. This is a 10-second car, not a 5-second to the, or 4-second to the 8 radial car. So my car, it does a 147/60, which is good for a 10-second pass. It squats the arse end. Standard springs will help that, and a good shock, but I will not tell you what shock I run. The next thing I really want to do, because I have to run a full tank of fuel, is piss the tank off. Still has standard fuel tank, standard fuel lines, standard fuel rails. I want to upgrade all of that, because I believe that that will be restricting me. So it still has standard fuel rails, still has standard fuel lines, minus this because I broke it. So I could go a smaller fuel system / fuel cell to save me weight with a good surge tank, so I don't have to run 76 litres on a pass. I could be running 20 litres with a 20-litre fuel cell, saving me weight. If I strip the car some more and then save some weight with the fuel system, I might go 1040. I've already done 1040. 1030. With changing the tyres, I might get a couple more mile an hour. Maybe. This is all yet to be explored. And I'll let something out of the bag now. Some of you have may seen that my turbo kit is up for sale. While this has done me exceptionally well, minus the one crack around the rear passenger side exhaust manifold, I wanted to redo a couple of things. I got a Borg-Warner S475, which is a T6 rear housing. Yes, I know you can get a rear housing that is a T4 and change it, but I don't want to do that. And I didn't want to cut up my manifolds and make it a T6 rear housing, and I also wanted to change the crossover like I said in my previous video. I just thought, why would I do that to a kit that works? It works, leave it working. So I also wanted to redo all of my intercooler piping, because you can see it goes down to 2.5 inch there, back up to 3 inch, standard battery location.
It'll make it very serviceable.
Yeah, and serviceability, like, while it's a good kit and I don't melt leads anymore because I've found my way around it, when you're drag racing and leaning on it, not street driving, you sort of want to be able to check plugs, change plugs, what have you. With this application, the front plug is very hard to get to, which is annoying. So I think I'm going to go Kiloboost 4-into-1 manifolds. Yet to decide, though. That will be hopefully within the next 3 months or so, and we really want to do a fuel system upgrade and turbo upgrade and tyre upgrade and see how fast we can get it. Our best time on the strip is a 10.49, I think it was.
Possibly.
So
yeah.
call it a 10.5. Call it a 10.5. I'll call it a 10.4. You can call it a 10.5. But this is how I went 10s with relatively fuck all money. I did the gearbox, I did the stall converter, I bought a turbo kit that cost me relatively nothing compared to a Kiloboost kit. It didn't cost me $5, still spent money on it. Paint job, you don't need to do that, but it looks good, doesn't it?
Oh, that looks good! Oh, that looks good!
And diff, I don't know how I've gotten away with it. Diff and axles, I don't know how I've gotten away with it for that long, but that'll need attention soon.
Touch wood.
Another point I emphasise on a lot would be finding yourself someone that knows what they're doing with experience, i.e. Profection. Did I say perfection? I meant perfection. So they made it 10 times easier for me. I didn't have to go and be that askhole guy. An askhole is, put it in the bottom of the video here, Angus, someone that asks the same question a million times to a million other people and never takes that information on board. Don't be that guy. Talk to one person, talk to two if you want, but with me, I went to Profection and said, this is what I want to do, let's make this happen. Okay, Pete said, this is what you need to do. Then I did that. Then I did tens. It just makes life so much easier than going to him, then him, then him, then him. He says something different to him, he says something different to him, and then you don't know what to do. You talk to one guy, and he's going to say, do that, and then you do tens. It makes it 10 times easier. Don't be that arsehole guy. Go to one person, make it easier for yourself. Make sure it's some guy with experience that can also back it up, not just Joey off the side street that says he's done sevens in his fucking dad's acclaim. No hate to Joey with his dad's acclaim, really nice dude. So Angus has put on the Instagram TCK page some questions for the TCK channel. And people have asked us questions, quite obviously, because that's what questions are, Oliver. Idiot. So we have Aaron Cooper. What made you start TCK? So Angus originally, who's behind the camera, started TCK. Angus is also my brother if no one knew. Angus originally started TCK when the black dog was nipping at his heels. He needed to focus on something to pull him out of that ditch that he was in, and which he had his VL, which was Project 9s, which was the first video on this channel, which is no longer in our possession, well, Angus's possession, as it was his car. That was it in a nutshell, just to help him get along. And from a young age, he had mad anxiety, and it's helped him out a massive shit ton doing this stuff, man. It is insane. So I'm proud of him for that. Good on you, Gussie. We got Max733. What's your main goal with the VY? It was to have a fast street car. With the motor setup it has in it now, I don't think I can get it to a 9 in full street trim. So the next goal is to run a 9, and then obviously the goal after that will be run an 8, and the goal after that will be run a 7.
Possibly a drag challenge.
Definitely a drag challenge. I want to do drag challenge in it, so I think I want to get it to a 9, and then maybe chuck street trim back in it, and then do drag challenge. That'd be cool. I'd enjoy that a lot. We got Big Adam from Profection. Asked us a question. He said, what's happening with the Ute now? I saw the turbo kit up for sale. Rehashing what I said before. I wanted to change a couple of things because I got a S475. And I thought to myself, what's the point when I want to change everything to do with the kit? So, put it up for sale. Do a Kiloboost 4x1s. Made. We have Benny J. Parks. What is your biggest motivation? And who is your biggest idol? Yeah, our old man probably. It's just, growing up my whole life, I've always been into cars. I was never not into cars. I eat, sleep, breathe, poo, everything.
Excrete.
I always push myself. I always see some blokes with cars that are going fast, and I'm just like, I just want to be with them. So, yeah, ever since
to cut the bullshit that everyone hides, it's jealousy. You want to be better than them.
Yeah, 100%. I don't want them in their cars to be better than me, so I want to be better than them. I want to be better than you. Furthering on what is the biggest motivation and who is your biggest idol? My biggest idol, it has to be Nolsey. No, I'm kidding. Probably my old man, to be honest with you. He's been through some shit. He's pulled himself out of some shit.
He's put himself through back it again.
Yeah, he always does. It's like he goes back and forth through the shit, I swear to God. But no, he's always stuck by us. We came from, I'm not going to say nothing, but he's taught us how to be resourceful, i.e. building this car. I've learnt most of that from my old man. Yeah, he's always been there. He's always taken time to explain to us when we were little. Not many people obviously know because we don't have it on the channel. He's our old rodeo. He always took the time out to explain everything to us. We had the rodeo, sorry, I was off track there. We built a rodeo when I was 15, Angus was 16. And he's basically spent all of his money just pouring into that car to get it done for Summernats, which was awesome for him to be able to do that for us because he didn't want us to, I think I was starting to go out and try and party in and stuff like that. So he tried to keep me on track and say, look, I'm going to give you this. We need to look forward to this, and I'll teach you everything along the way. He never basically like said, shut up, just do the work. It was always, this is why this does this, and he just always could make it easier for me to understand and make me want to understand. I don't know, he's a good bloke, old Johnny.
He goes up.
He goes all right. But yeah, I reckon he's my biggest motivation apart from myself, and my biggest idol from my old man, yeah. So Johnny, my old man, he also had a Tirana back in the day, which he drag raced, which I never got to see him drag race, unfortunately. Had a medical episode, we sold the Tirana. Now he's back up and running and on his feet. He bought an Altered, which his big block Chevy's going to go into. We got to get a transmission built from Joe at Penrith Transmission Centre. That's going to be a Reed Case Power Glide, and then hopefully you're going to be starting to see it on their YouTube channel. We're going to be painting it candy red. DNA, thank you DNA, candy red. It's happening. That was the colour the VL was supposed to be. But that's what colours the Altered's going. It will be supercharged one day. It has an 871 sitting there for him. But for now, we just want to get it up and running because Dad hasn't drag raced in 25 years? 24 years. So we're just going to get that done. Paint it, drop the motor and box in, get a tail shaft made up for it. It'll be on the YouTube channel. Why don't I make it one? Thanks for watching, guys.